Mixed up over Rosie. It was summertime on the island of Sodor. Percy had the most work to do. He was busy with his mail run and freight work as well. He was tired of all the extra hard work. One day, Percy was having his tubes checked and his pistons oiled when Rosie shunted into the yards. "I have been very busy today," she puffed. Then the fat controller drove up in his hat blue car. "Percy, you have a very busy afternoon," he said. "You must take my airport brake van to the airport to be unloaded." "Yes, sir," said Percy. "And then you must take a delivery of milk and stone to Maythwaite and coach trains full of new machinery to Callan Castle for Miss Jenny Packard to unload," said the fat controller. "And you must be done before the end of the day." Percy was worried. "I'll need some help," he said. "That's too much work to do." "Don't worry," said Rosie. "I'll help you." "I'll come with you to Brendam Docks to pick up your trucks," she said. "Thank you, Rosie," puffed Percy. Percy was very pleased to have a good friend in Rosie. Percy went in front. "Let's go," he cried. "Slow down," said Rosie. Percy was quick to buffer up to his trucks. Percy had collected the train of coachworks for Jenny Packard and Rosie the train of milk and stone for the dockyard workers on the other side of the island. "Come on, Rosie," puffed Percy. "We have lots to do." "All right," said Rosie. Percy was too impatient, and he pulled ahead of Rosie. Rosie had no idea she had taken the wrong freight cars, but she was having a splendid run. Children waved at her as Rosie puffed under the bridge, and the children watched her huff away. Rosie was excited, and she tooted back to the children. Then there was trouble. The brake van coupling came loose from the milk vans. Rosie passed Bulgy waiting at the crossings. Bulgy started to honk loudly. "He's honking because I'm being a really reliable engine," thought Rosie. But Bulgy was honking because the airport brake van was now rolling back towards the level crossing. It smashed against the gate. The brake van was over the road. Bulgy was cross. But Rosie didn't notice. She puffed proudly on. Percy backed into the station. "I've brought the special train," he puffed. Then he noticed something. "These are the wrong trucks," he puffed. "You must go back to the yards and pick up the proper freight cars," said the workman. "We can't unload here," said another. Percy was upset. Just as he was pulling out, Gordon came rushing through the station with his express route, and he hit Percy and sideswiped him. Percy was cross. Gordon thundered through. Rosie would have no idea about Percy's accident. Rosie arrived to Callan Castle, where Miss Jenny Packard was waiting for her. "Rosie, spot on," she said. "Well done." Rosie was happy that her job was finished, or so she thought. "You've brought the wrong freight cars," said Miss Jenny Packard. "Oh, no," said Rosie. "There must have been a mix-up at the docks," she said. "Percy was meant to bring these, not me. I was meant to bring his other trucks." "If you want to find Percy," cried Donald, "we've seen him back at Maythwaite Holt," called Douglas, continuing. "I'll take you there. I'm going to pick up some trucks." "And Trevor," said Douglas. "Come on." Percy was being levered back onto the rails when Douglas arrived. "Here he is," cried Douglas. Rosie was upset. She had made a mistake, and now Percy was derailed. "This is all your fault," said Percy. "You've mixed up the deliveries, and now I'm in trouble." At last, Percy had been put back onto the tracks. "You are a silly engine," said Percy. "Once again, Rosie, you screwed up." "This isn't my fault. You were too impatient," said Rosie. "I warned you, and now look what's happened." Then Rosie kept quiet. "We must fix the mistakes," said Rosie. "Right," said Percy. "We have to collect the airport brake van and take it to the airport, or the fat controller will be upset." So, Rosie and Percy swapped trucks. Rosie backed onto the coaches and Percy to the freight cars. Soon after they had delivered the freight cars to the proper destinations, Percy and Rosie took the airport brake van to the airport where the fat controller was waiting. Percy and Rosie were tired but were pleased that the day's work had been done right. "Well done," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I've heard about your incident." He paused impressively. "But I'm very pleased that an engine knows when to put right his mistakes. And an engine who can do that is a very reliable engine," said Sir Topham Hatt. Rosie smiled. "Thank you, sir," she puffed. Percy and Rosie were ready to go back to Tidmouth Sheds. Percy was having himself checked over again when Rosie started to leave the yards. "Wait, Rosie, wait!" cried Percy. "I'm sorry I blamed you for everything," he said. "It was my fault that this whole thing happened. I was so impatient and eager to get to work. But you didn't have to help me, and the fat controller was right. A reliable engine is one who owns up when they're in trouble."